This is real. Like, it's actually happening. As soon as I finished watching the Animal Crossing Direct, I had this really odd feeling when I picked up the game and started running around my island. I felt like everything was somehow both bright and cheerful, but also kind of dull and just, ugh. And after taking some time to think about why I was feeling that way, I realized that the Direct was like a sign to me that it was coming time to restart my Animal Crossing journey one last time. And I just want to have a casual conversation and talk about why I feel the need to restart and pose the question to you. Do you think that you'll be restarting your own journey, or are you planning to just do some flattening and take it from there? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. So, with the 2.0 update, it feels like the game I thought Animal Crossing New Horizons was going to be is finally here. Now, I've enjoyed the game extensively since its initial release, having clocked in over 2,000 hours, but I have to admit that it has always felt a little underdeveloped. I didn't play New Leaf very much, but I do remember the fun of sipping coffee with Brewster and getting my haircuts from Harriet, and New Leaf just felt more lively overall. With all the additions coming to New Horizons, I want to experience the game as I feel it was meant to be from the beginning. I know that much of the new content will require Nook Miles, like joining Captain on voyages to new islands, and I'm wholly aware of how tedious and annoying the grind for Nook Miles can be in the beginning, but honestly, I think that little bit of struggle is part of what I felt was lacking from the initial release of the game. There hasn't really been any reason to grind, and there hasn't been a lot to achieve in the game, except for what we've challenged ourselves to do as players. That being said, I am thrilled that the developers decided to have us work to bring Sahara and Kix and Katrina to Harv's Island, because it's another sort of storyline that we get to follow and experience over time. And yes, even without restarting, we can still experience the fun that all of the new features have to offer. I'm just curious about how the story of Animal Crossing New Horizons is now going to flow, and I won't be able to fully and properly experience that new story without first restarting. Besides, I'm not too keen on running around an island called Acorn Ridge for the rest of my Animal Crossing days. That's the one feature that wasn't added to the game that I kind of wish was, changing the name of our islands. All of this is why I think this is going to be my last island reset, because now that the game has so much more to do and to unlock, it just doesn't make sense to reset my island as often as I have. This is going to be a slight annoyance since I like to switch island themes often and save each new theme as a separate dream address so that I can visit it in the future, even as I'm working on future island projects, but I don't think it's going to be feasible to continue doing that. It's annoying, but I kinda get why it has to be that way. In making the decision to restart, I think it's still important to look at some of the more negative consequences that may arise and share what I'm going to do to best remedy those concerns in case you're on the fence yourself and need some ideas on how to solve these problems. The biggest concern that I've seen players discussing is about all of the items and DIYs that they've cataloged and collected. Obviously, when you restart, your character no longer has access to all of that stuff. And I've been extremely privileged in the sense that my partner has his own Switch with his own copy of the game, and he doesn't like to reset. So every time I reset my island, I just drop off all my extra DIYs that I've collected and most of the essential items that I want to keep on his island. So that extra storage is really going to come in handy. Plus, my partner's character already knows most of the DIYs in the game, so I sometimes use his character as my crafting buddy. This is something that I would recommend to anyone who may want to restart, but has the concern of losing all your items and DIY progress. If you have a family member or a friend who also plays the game, you can take turns dropping items off on each other's islands before you reset so that you can still keep some of what you've worked for. There are also free treasure islands on Twitch that offer every DIY in the game and most items that you'd want to catalog. That can be a good way to quickly get back some of that progress. I've also heard a lot of people voice concern about not wanting to grind for Nook Miles again, and that's absolutely a fair point. My only rebuttal is that I'm personally looking forward to that little bit of struggle because I think it'll make the trips I take with Cap'n and the Nook Mile items that I purchase from the Nook machine feel like actual rewards and something to work towards in the game besides just decorating my island. I think a little challenge is good for a gaming experience. Another idea that I've seen thrown around is instead of resetting your island as the new update launches, which is what I'm planning to do, some players have chosen to reset their islands now, so that by the time the update is available, they'll already have some of the Nook Miles, items, and DIYs that they might want for their island. The only negative to this is that you may not get to experience the new beginning of the game flow that the game may have after the update goes live on November 5th. So that's definitely something to consider if you're like me and curious how this update might change the natural flow and progression of the game from the very beginning. Do you have any other concerns, questions, or ideas about how to get the best experience from Animal Crossing New Horizons with the 2.0 update? Let me know in the comments and tell me what you're planning to do with your island. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope that you continue to have an incredible experience along your New Horizons journey. Until next time, bye!